Yo, 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 yo. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Max and Juan cast. Max, how you doing tonight, my brother?
Doing good one. It's finally coming full circle. We're almost done.
No, we are
Our
done.
mock
We're done.
our
We're
mock 1.0 is gonna come out soon, and life will be good until Thursday at like 4 o'clock, because then that 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock is the longest hour of my life. Like just dying of anticipation, like what's gonna happen? What are we
yeah,
gonna do? So,
yeah.
but it's been a long process. We're at the end of our scouting process.
Yes.
Save the weakest for last.
Definitely the weakest for last. So tonight we're gonna do linebackers, our last class, and this was very on purpose, like because it's a weak class. There's I would say there's really like three good guys. And one of them being considering first round guys, but a lot of day three guys. I'm not gonna come out here and say like, hey, all these guys are trash, but they're day three guys with some growing pains, to say the least. They got a lot of work to do. Some of them have some traits, some of them have some things on tape that we've seen. It's just a lot of work, okay? It's not a stat class, all right? So excuse us if we don't talk about a fifth round or sixth round linebacker that you guys maybe like, and we don't talk about them.
Yeah, exactly. And I would just add on, if there's one position we maybe glance over, it's probably this one. It's
Yeah.
the last one. It's important, but I feel like in recent years when we never really had the drafts we never had our YouTube channel and podcast when there's been a Roquan Smith, Tremaine
Yeah.
Edmonds, and
Yeah.
Patrick Queen. It's just like it's always like fringe guys or one
Right.
good guy and a bunch
It's
of little
probably
scraps. And
our first draft, honestly, with Micah and JOK, because Micah had linebacker tape. JOK was a pretty good prospect. That was probably the last great linebacker class I remember.
yeah, and one thing is too, like we're gonna be wrong about somebody. There'll be somebody from
Yeah.
some small school who just turn out to be a stud, and you know we can't. We're gonna miss some guys. We're not professional scouters.
Yeah.
We have full time jobs, and we do this. So
Yeah.
let's get into it, Juan.
All right,
Let's
let's
do the
do it.
list.
Before we do, I just want to give a little reminder. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you guys are new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you guys are already subscribed, what's the deal, Max? You unsubscribe, resubscribe, mess with that.
Wow, bring it throwback.
Throwback. All right, mess
We,
with
we
that
don't we don't
algorithm.
say that anymore, but I like it. I like it.
So
Just watch the videos where we're negative. Don't watch the videos where we're positive and glazing.
exactly.
But
Yeah, if
no,
you guys
are
are
kicking ass.
maybe
They're
you're
kicking
a
ass.
TikTok guy that got so pissed off, and maybe you like us a little bit because we pissed you off so much. I don't know. Will Campbell got short arms. Call me a hater. Anyway, make sure to subscribe to the channel. All right, like the video, comment down below any thoughts, opinions that you guys have about this linebacking class. All right, let's start off with the cream of the crop, man. Let's show our list actually, okay? Because our lists are very, very similar, almost the same. My list is number one, Jihaad Campbell. I'm yet to see anybody who thinks that Jihaad Campbell is not the number one linebacker. Convince
I have
me.
yet to see anyone even like have an argument for anyone else.
Yeah. Number two, Carson.
Well, hold on. We'll say I guess Jalen Walker if you consider him a linebacker, but we don't.
Right. We both graded him.
We put him as an edge. Yeah, put him as an edge.
Yeah. Number two, the UCLA linebacker Carson
Schwesinger.
There you go. All right. Number three, Demetrius Knight Jr. out of South Carolina, Chris Paul Jr. out of Ole Miss, and Danny Stutsman out of Oklahoma. Max, what's your list looking like?
Yeah, I like your list one. I mean, this is the least parity we're gonna see, right? So I have, for instance, Jihaad Campbell 1, 2, Carson Schwesinger, 3, Demetrius Knight, 4, Danny Stutsman, 5, Cliff Paul / Chris Paul Jr. It's not the most exciting class. Jihaad Campbell, obviously. I mean, we should just jump right into him. He's the cream of the crop. He's not a blue chipper on my mind. Look, he's clearly the consensus one, right?
Yeah.
But that's not a blue chipper. Even if we consider Jalen Walker one, I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, blue chipper. No. Blue chipper one is Roquan Smith.
Yeah.
That's like we know you're going to be the first linebacker taken. You're going to go really high. Just how high? But Jahad Campbell, he doesn't just offer some linebacking on. He could potentially take that leap to edge rusher like we talked about with Micah. He's got great size, great frame. He's listed at 235. He looked bigger on, looked bigger
Yeah.
on tape. He's a great athlete, good sideline to sideline speed, explosive, very fluid. He gets really good depth when he drops back into coverage. He's tackling is good. And as an edge, I mean, I don't know how you feel about it. I feel like the signs are there, like, oh, this might be a thing. We
Yeah.
might be able to like have you line up like on a week we're playing a pass heavy team. The negatives one are it's raw. It's raw eyes, it's raw discipline against zone in zone coverage against the pass. But I mean, for this class, I mean it's as good as it gets.
Yeah, look, I think he's the best linebacker in the class, no doubt. The athletic tools are there, the size is there. It's perfect. He flies around on the field. His tackling is tremendous. I think that's probably the best thing that I liked about him. He's one of the best tacklers that I've seen, and he's not only a great tackler, he can lay the boom. I've seen him deliver some big hits. He comes with authority while tackling the ball carrier, and I just want to point out, like you were talking about, the blitz ability. I a lot of stuff, like it's a positive and a negative in this sense. It's a positive because he was pretty good at it, at blitzing, and Alabama put him at edge a lot. And I mean a lot. He just lined up as the edge at times and rushed the quarterback. It wasn't just off blitzing from a linebacker standpoint. And that took away, on the negative side, just the reps that he kind of just needs in passing, the eye discipline when it comes to gaps and stuff. That's really my only gripe with him. But
That
I do feel
that
like,
discipline pops up in the run game too. One, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just want to make this point real quick. He takes himself out of the plays
yes.
on running plays. He just goes to the wrong hole and he's just dead. But then he's like, "Oh, I'm so fast, I can still chase you
Yeah.
down."
Yeah.
But just to build off what you were saying, I'm sorry again to interrupt you, but the discipline doesn't just extend to zone. It's run game too. It's just
Yeah.
you like it's not like how Roquan Smith's like always in the hole,
Yeah.
like every time. He's like he'll take a step to the right and the pulling guard. It's not great. But again, it's like you said, he's raw. He's raw,
Yeah.
and when he split his time, he won't be as good as one as he could be.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that's going to come with coaching. A lot of that's going to come with scheme, depending on what scheme he goes in, you know. But I just feel like he hasn't had a lot of reps for it. And the NFL, I don't think he's going to be lining up at edge like he was asked to at Alabama all that much. He may do it sometimes, but not as many times as he did it in Bama. Bama's kind of like, like Georgia in a sense, where they're having to ask their guys to do some weird things just to get all the best players on the field at times. And so I have confidence he can do it. I have confidence that he's going to get a lot better at it, because I do feel like there's moments where the eye discipline's there, the gap discipline's there, the zone coverage is there, and it all goes inside. Like you can get a group of plays and just be like, hey, like he can do it. Just do it consistently,
Yeah,
kind
when
of
it
thing.
all lines up like a lunar eclipse, it's spectacular.
Yeah.
But it's just a question of how often can it line up and how soon can it line up.
Right.
Look, this guy to me is a poor man's Micah, Demario Davis to like a modernized Demario Davis. That being said, he's my number one linebacker one, but this is a 15 to 25 type of guy range of pick. He's good, but he's far from being a finished product. Got a ton of upside.
Look, the linebacking position in the NFL is weird, Max. It's you know, if you look around the NFL, there's really not a true difference maker at linebacker. And I can say that confidently. There really isn't. Like
Not
Roke,
Fred.
I don't think Fred's all that, like, he's big for his team, but like I don't think he's a guy like, you think that anyone's gonna pay a second round pick for Fred Warner?
I think so. I
I
would
don't think
disagree with you
so.
on this one.
I don't think so.
I
I think it's hard to find difference makers at the linebacking position. I think the position is kind of full of guys where teams get guys that fit their scheme, that fit a little body type, and they put them in the best position to flourish. You know, and I think
I
that's
mean,
gonna.
I just disagree. I disagree because you look at the best defenses in the sport, the Eagles, the Chiefs,
Yeah, they have a guy like Zach Bond.
they, they have good linebacking. That's great linebacking play. And I know Zach Bond's kind of a late bloomer, but he was spectacular this year. He was a difference
I
maker
think
for our
that's more of the
defense.
scheme though. I think that's more of the scheme. I think that's why they try to target guys like Devin White last year, Shaquille Leonard, because they believe in their scheme. Zach Bond, did he play amazing? Yes. And he fits great in that scheme. But I don't think you put Zach Bond on 32 teams and he's gonna produce like he does for the Eagles. I don't think it's
Yeah,
I don't think
see,
it's
but
like
like then
that.
I would say I feel like if you're going to use that, I would think Roquan and Fred would produce for all 32.
Roquan and Fred are the closest ones. Those are hard to argue, but I would be confident in saying that more than half of the league, there's no difference makers at linebacker. I'm sorry. The NFL is just moving towards nickel.
Just crapping on Robert Spillane.
I know,
Nice.
I know. But look, the facts are though, Max, if you look at all the defenses that are run in the NFL, it's mostly big dime and nickel. There's only one
I think
linebacker on the field.
I think a better way for you to make this point is obviously if you were going to have an impact player at any position on defense, linebackers, like you want an impactful edge or you want an impactful a linebacker one? Edge, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what about D tackle or linebacker?
Tackle.
Corner. Safety.
I think safety too.
Okay, see I agree with this logic where hey, if I had to pick one elite guy, it's like, okay, I'd rather take obviously any other position.
Yeah.
But there's still value, and I think those two guys are difference makers.
Look,
and
of course, if you have a great player like Roquan and Fred, yes, those guys are valuable to a sense. But I think the NFL is just switching more towards nickel packages, smaller guys on the field, more speed. It's just a dying breed.
Warner's a small linebacker,
Yeah,
and every linebacker's small now. Matt Milano's small.
And he fits. Yeah. And there's one linebacker on the field for the most part. But Tyron Johnson is more on the field than the second linebacker.
I can't wait for the comments to just say one thinks all linebackers suck. That's going to be the takeaway. That's
not true.
That'll be the takeaway.
I just think I think a lot of the good teams, man, they play with one linebacker, and I think it's going to hurt Jihaad Campbell. Does that make Jihaad Campbell any worse? No, I don't think so. I just think the position is lower on the totem pole. I think some teams are going to look at it as we can work with the free agent that we got or the 7th round pick that we get.
So, would you say linebacker is the equivalent to running back on like? You could find someone late rather than spend a lot of money. Is that what you're trying to go
I do believe. And with all that being said, I know somebody's gonna find a way to contradict my words and be like, you're shitting on Jihaad. I'm not shitting on Jihaad Campbell. In fact, I think Jihaad Campbell's a 1st round pick. I have him as a 1st round grade. I just think he's gonna. I would pick him a little bit later on the later side. There's maybe gonna like Max loves to say, there only takes one team to fall in love with you. So if Atlanta falls in love with this guy and they pick him at whatever spot that they are at, I think it's a little rich. But hey, they love the player. I think he's a solid player. He has a lot of room to grow. I'm not mad at it. My comp for
Who's your comp?
Devin Lloyd. I think a guy that came out, very raw, very raw, has the measurables. I think he just started to get it this last year. Before this, it was kind of shaky, but he's catching on. He's doing better. So I got Devin Lloyd, and best fit, I would love this guy on the Rams. Late in the 1st round, get a guy at linebacker for them.
That would be really good for them. I don't know if he'll make it there, but that's good. That's a good one.
See. All right,
so and he's clear cut. He's clear cut in his own tier. He is by far the best guy.
Yeah.
Only guy even worth a 1st round pick.
I gave him a pretty high grade. I got 83, 25 to 40. It just comes down to the position value. That's really why he's 25 to 40 to me personally. For Max, he's an 81, round 1 as well. And Max will take him as early as 15 to 25 range.
Yeah, he's a good player.
All right, let's move on to our second linebacker. Let's go to Carson out of UCLA. 6'2", 242 pounds. Max, what'd you see on film from Carson?
I saw a really good athlete. You know, just because he's a white guy with long surf boy hair, he's a tremendous athlete. One, he's tall. He covers a lot of ground. One thing you can tell is he's really comfortable operating in space, whether that's Tampa 2, and he has to play the deep state, like he's falling all the way back, and he looks great. One, right? Fluid, peels at the right time. He's really good at reading the eyes. He really makes his money as a pass specialist linebacker. It's really good coverage. That was really what stood out to me. I made a point that my third ranked guy, Demetrius Knight, I loved his physicality. Where this is the one con I would say with him, the run game is just bad. Is just not up to par in my like of what I want in a first round linebacker. It's not bad, and there's games where it's like he's hot and cold, but there's too many times where I see a guard just bury him, or a tight end, and that's just something I don't like from mine linebackers. He's a good player, he's a really good player, and he's going to be valuable because of how natural he is in the pass game. He like if I tried to look this up and it didn't say anything. If someone was like, "Oh yeah, he used to play safety," I'd be like, "Oh, makes sense. He is comfortable. He is
Mhm.
comfortable as can be in space in the pass game.
Yeah.
Good player. Good
Yeah,
and good
it's
tackler
something
too. Should make good tackler.
and it's something that's rare. I think that's probably, top 2, top 3 things that I look at is comfortability in zone because you're gonna have to be in pass coverage. You can't just
Yeah.
be in the run game all the time. You're gonna be a 2 down player. And this guy
Mhm.
has some extreme third down value. He is super comfortable. I love his zone ability. And like you said, Max, it does look like he had some safety in him back in the day, but he didn't. He's a really interesting story though. This is really his first year starting. He was a walk on UCLA. So great story. He walked on. And I heard this point. I forgot who I heard this point from, but I really do think it makes sense. When you're a walk on guy and you're in practice, Max, you're trying to make every single splash play imaginable. So you're
Yeah.
playing crazy. And I do think he plays like that. And it causes him to miss some gaps at times. And it gets pretty ugly. And like you said, I think you
Yeah.
best explained it with the hot and cold. The run game is just hot and cold. Sometimes he'll get pancaked. Sometimes he'll be slippery off some
Oh,
blocks and he'll make a play, but it's bad out on times. If you can show a
he should
highlight
be
tape,
more slippery. He should be more slippery because he certainly just can't meet the guard in the hole. He's gonna die.
yeah.
But the
Well,
slippery thing is what he needs to work on.
and that's what I wanted to get into as well. At the combine, he came in at 242 pounds. I don't think he was 242 pounds. I think
No,
he looked lighter
absolutely.
on film. He looked more in the 235 range, 232, the 230s. And
Yeah, I'm with you.
yeah, and one thing that I think it's very underrated about him is his blitzing ability. I think like Jihaad Campbell, probably not to this aspect, but I think he can bend. I think he can bend. I think he has a blitz ability to him. But if he puts on that extra weight, it could decrease his bend ability, that speed
Yeah,
that
his
we see on
fluidity.
tape. Yeah, so I don't know how
Yeah.
I feel about it. That's really what's scaring me about him. But he's a solid player, man. He plays with his hair on fire. He's a guy that's came from the ground up, a walk-on guy. So he's gonna play hard every single play. He just has a lot of growing to do. He has a lot of growing and he's young. And I think the ceiling is pretty high for him. And I gave him some high praise with this comp. Eric Kendricks, that's the absolute high ceiling for him. And I think he has a lot of similarities to Eric Kendricks. Number one, they both went to UCLA conveniently. And you know, I think they play in zone really good. They're an undersized linebacker, just like each other. So I would love this guy to be to Atlanta. Atlanta not get so linebacker hungry in the first round and pick a guy like Jahad Campbell, get some value, pick him in the second round, maybe even third round if he's still there, and pick a better player in the first round. Get yourself an edge.
He reminded me of Alex Singleton. He was somebody who was a converted safety, not really the best against the run, tackling machine though. Like he'll make the tackles, but he's not gonna he's not gonna be head up with the guard and take him out and dish out punishment. But overall, this is a guy who's gonna have tremendous value in the NFL. especially if he's as good as zone in the NFL as college. This is a day 2 pick for me, 45 to 60 range. I think whatever team he lands with is going to get value.
Yeah. And my grade on him, I have him as a 76, anywhere in the 2 to 3 range. I'm predicting, probably maybe he'll go in the early second, but where I would pick him personally, late second, early third round pick. I'm leaning more towards the third round for this guy. For Max, like he said, the 60 to 80 range. He has a 76 grade on him. So very similar. I really like Carson though. I have some high hopes for him. I think he can be a really solid player. All right,
Mhm.
let's go to Demetrius Knight Jr. out of South Carolina, 6'2", 235 pounds, ran a 4.58. Max, what'd you see out of Demetrius Knight?
I saw physicality that I didn't see with Carson. And I wanted to make him my number 3, my number 2, but there is some drawbacks to his game. So first of all, he's got okay size, but he's got a great frame. He's thickly built, good instincts. His ability to play physically and play in traffic is what really stood out to me. He's got good long arms, capable to tackle, good speed. It's not elite speed, but there's one big drawback, and that's the coverage. He's almost the opposite of what we just talked about.
Yeah.
It's raw and zone. It's not really the most natural feel. He's over aggressive at times. You can see he's kind of tight in the hips. He's better against the run than man, and this is what worries me, that you're going to be a 2-down player. On 3rd down, you're coming off the field. This to me is your Oren Burks, Rashawn Evans type linebacker. And I don't count Oren Burks, 8-game stretch where he looked like an all pro and for the Eagles in the playoffs as what Oren Burks is. Another guy, somewhat TJ Edwards, someone like that.
Yeah.
He's going to have great value 1st and 2nd down. And hey, maybe he can bring the passing game stuff up to the point where he can be a 3-down player. That's what scared me enough to make him 3, not 2.
Yeah. Well, the crazy story about him is he was a former quarterback, I think at Georgia Tech or something. So, former quarterback, you would think he would be a little bit better in zone, just understanding concepts and stuff. And the best ceiling to project for Demetrius Knight Jr. is really the Alabama game. That's what really popped out to me. Watching that Bama game, it showed everything. It showed his best game in coverage, his best game as far as eye discipline goes, gap discipline, tackling, blitzing ability, everything. He was all over it, even in man coverage. But that's not every game. And it comes back to like the CJ Stroud thing, like you said a couple years ago, where you're like, hey, if he can play like he did against Georgia every single game, man, like that's what we want. And I'm feeling the same thing about Demetrius Knight. If he can just prove that he can play like that, like he did against Bama every single game in the NFL, he's going to be really solid. The one thing that scares me about that whole conversation, I'm going to bust out a page out of Max's book. He's 25 years old. He's an older prospect. We don't know how much better he can get at the linebacking position. He's not like Carson, where he's 22 years old. Jihaad Campbell's 21 years old. So this guy's on the older side. So, it's something that you're banking on of him improving. He might just have, his ceiling already capped out. We'll see.
Yeah.
I still think he can be a solid linebacker. My comp for him was Anthony Walker, a guy who's solid in the league, has had a couple stops, but at the end of the day, just an average linebacker. And I
Yeah,
think,
that's what I kind of saw. A little upside, but more than likely one, he's just your average linebacker who's capable of the good games, and he'll have a couple of stinkers in
yeah,
there.
yeah. And my best fit for him would be Indianapolis. I think Indianapolis, kind of gets guys like this as far as like improving them in coverage. We'll see what
Absolutely.
Does with them, but I would love to see him with the Colts. They just lost not not man,
EJ
what's his
Speed.
name? Yes, I think that's the guy, EJ Speed. That's who they just lost. So looking to replace him, I would love Demetrius Knight from the Indianapolis Colts. All right, we're gonna gloss over these guys because this is where the tier ends. I had Carson and Demetrius Knight in the same tier.
Yes, I absolutely agree. I absolutely there's a fall off. Look, I'll hit on Danny Stutsman if you're okay with that
Yeah,
real quick.
yeah,
It's funny to watch him because he's kind of a throwback. He's got the arm sleeve on one arm. He's got elbow brace on the other, big old shoulder pads, and he's just he just delivers punishment. This guy, he is a 2 down player. I don't know if you agree.
Yes,
Uh,
1000%.
flies all over the field. Great wrap up tackler. He's got really good speed. He's got like pretty good damn speed. He's got good burst, and he dishes out punishment. It's not like he hits you and like you fall forward. No, he hits you, you fall backwards. He just is so raw in coverage. It's just I don't know if he reminded me of Alex Anzalone, and people look at him now and he's like this kind of do it all guy for the Lions, and he's integral. He was in the Saints for a long time on it. You know, when third down came, he was getting off the field.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of run. This is a round 3 to 4 guy. There's upside. There's a clear role in the NFL for him, and he's got a good motor. I will give him that. He's nonstop. I liked watching him, but it just you kind of know what you're getting.
Right. And my comp for him was Troy Reader / Cody Barton. You know, a guy like that.
Yeah.
Where we'll see if he can improve in zone coverage, but it was bad. It was bad. He had to top it all off. Like
he gets manipulated badly.
The film was bad in coverage, and then also like you look at his like PFF coverage grades. It's terrible. His run defense is great, which there's a spot for guys like that in the NFL. Some teams value those guys a little bit more than others, but at the end of the day, I don't think he's gonna touch anywhere near day 2. I think he's a day 3 guy. Mid to late 4th round at best. But I just like a lot of other prospects in this draft before I start getting to him. My best fit for him, I did it more as a joke, just because they lack the physicality. Miami, Dolphins get a guy like that.
That'd actually be good. I think they actually need it.
I doubt
he's
they'll
like
pick
an
him,
Elandon Robert. This is like a Patriots linebacker. Like Mike Vrabel will take him and just be like, we got the run game with this guy.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to my number 3 guy. Let's go to Chris Paul Jr. as Max loves.
Chris Paul's your 3?
Yes, Chris Paul. No, Chris Paul's my 4. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, that's what I
sorry.
thought. No,
My bad.
I was like, what?
No, this guy, smaller guy, and it shows, man. He played in a perfect situation, playing behind a great defensive line. He's a boomer bust, dude. Like, because the run game, if he gets caught up on a block, he is absolutely screwed. Okay, he has to be slippery. Once a big ass guard gets his paws on him, it's a wrap.
Dead.
Okay, the zone coverage, it's okay. Nothing special though. He's just really just using his athletic ability, and he is just not good as an open field tackler in space. I like to call it like the hitbox. If you guys played Overwatch or like shooting games, his hitbox as a tackler is just low. It's not that wide. And he needs to be in a situation where he needs to play free. Very much a weak side linebacker to play free and make some splashy plays. My comp to him was Kwan Alexander, a smaller guy that showed some success. He had a couple stops in the league, but at the end of the day, man, he's just an athletic dude that needs to play free. Like, if you're expecting this guy to play Mike linebacker, come forget about it. He's not going to play Mike linebacker. I'll be shocked.
To me, he was somebody who plays in a 3-4 and just has a great D line and keeps him off, and you can just go make plays. And that's what he's really going to do in the NFL.
Yeah, and granted, he had a great year this year for Ole Miss, but let's just be real. Princely, NFL guy. The number 15, I'm forgetting his name. He's an NFL guy. Jaden Ivey.
Yeah,
and then you got Walter Nolan, and then you got
first-round pick,
and then you got Pegues, JJ Pegues, another NFL guy. So he played in front of a great line. It was perfect for him. So we'll see what happens. I comped him to Arizona just because I feel like Arizona just needs linebackers personally. Take a flyer on him. Hey, why not?
Yeah, why not? But day 3 guy.
Yeah, day 3 guy. Okay. There goes for our top 5 list. We got that covered. We'll mention 2 more guys that me and Max watched. Just guys that we wanted to mention. Modon Jr. from Georgia.
Yeah.
6'2", 224 pounds. Athletic guy. Very athletic linebacker. Had a big injury. Has a lot of injury concerns. We'll see if the medicals check out. But he's raw. He's a raw guy. He needs a lot of work. Like I said, a lot of the linebackers in this class need a lot of work.
That's kind of how I felt about Barrett Carter from Clemson. It was just You need work. You're not even close to being ready to play in the NFL. Sure, you're a fine athlete. You can kind of do a little bit of everything, but it's just not up to par. There's no call. These two guys to me don't have a calling card. Like, hey, even the dude from Oklahoma, Stutsman. It's like, I know what you can do in the NFL day one. You can play a good run defender, a plus run defender. These guys, it's kind of like, right? And that's why I don't even have them in the same tier.
Yeah, 100%. Look, there may be a guy. No, you know what? There is gonna be a guy. There's gonna be a guy that no
there'll
one's
be a
talking
guy slips
about.
through the cracks.
Yeah, that slips through the cracks. Nobody's talking about, and he's probably gonna be pretty good. And he's probably gonna get like 4 interceptions. Have like 60 plus tackles. We'll see what happens, but that's our list for now. Jihaad Campbell, very, very impressive player, very good player out of Bama. Carson, Demetrius Knight.
He's the big takeaway. He was the absolute gem of the class. Not even close.
Yeah, not even close, man. All right. I think that's going to do it for linebackers. This one's our shortest prospect rankings video. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Look, we hope you guys enjoyed this whole series, guys. All right. This is our 4th year doing this. We did the most position groups that we ever did because we added in not linebackers, tight ends this year. So we did 10 prospect lists this year, 10 prospect videos. In the past, we do about 8 to 9. So we hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you guys did and you guys have made it this far and watched every single video, first of all, I appreciate you. Max appreciates you. We all appreciate you, man. We put in a lot of work into this, especially into draft season. So truly grateful for you guys hanging around with us. And if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. It helps us out a bunch. We really appreciate it. It helps out the channel. It helps us grow.
I mean, we always kill it during draft season. Everyone always comes out, during the year we float around a handful of views and 10s, 20s, 30s. And in draft season, it's like every video gets 50 to 81.
Yeah.
Which means a lot to us. I know 80 views, some people might laugh at, but it means a lot to me at least,
Yeah.
It really does. I don't know, it's not like, when we first start off, you have 5 views and it's like, okay, that's our parents. That's one's friend. That's my friend. That's Joey.
Yeah.
That's Stack. Yeah. But now it's 80 people and it means a lot. It really does. And we appreciate you guys. And Thursday, we're going live for the draft. We're excited. Yes, we're going to have our 1.0 mock, our only 0.0 mock. They're guaranteed 30 out of 32. Cap.
So look, maybe I'll work it out like this, Max. I'll drop this video the same day as the mock. So if you guys are watching this and you guys haven't watched our mock, I'll put it right here at the end of the video so you guys can check it out. And you guys won't be disappointed because I'm not going to fuck up the mock this year. Shut up, Max. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. I don't want to hear the cap. Okay? I tried.
Cap.
So look, if you guys want to check out our mock draft, go ahead and check that out. It's already out. All right. I promise you guys. And we'll see you guys on draft day. Okay? Till then.
Johnny Manziel.
Until then, we out. Peace. Everything and what it seems. Glittering gold both ways. Not on my team. This organic, we don't